how do you define the future role of the agency in a world reshaped by technology, client insourcing, and AI?
I do think there is always a time and a place for agency partners. I do think agency partners give us a perspective outside of our own industry and helping us craft our strategy, creative strategy, media strategy. So I think there's a lot of conversation happening in the industry about agencies, and obviously there's just a lot happening with mergers and acquisitions. But I really do think that agencies still play a critical role. Those of us who are brand side marketers, I think we can get so caught up in our own industry. And in the case of United Airlines, only thinking about aviation and our competitors. So agencies help give us a bigger picture perspective of what is happening in other categories. How do we translate successes that are happening in other places to the work that we do at United?
Thank you. That I could not agree more, by the way. Just on, I've said this for years. This external perspective is something very special that it, when in partnership with marketers, it can really help drive the business forward because you're not just relying on the things that you're seeing,
Exactly.
internally. What do you most need from your agency partners today that's missing?
For me personally, I lead operations for our brand marketing team at United Airlines. What I am constantly craving is more involvement on the measurement and reporting side of things. With our agencies of record, I think they do a phenomenal job with strategy, concepting, execution, media planning, and buying. But sometimes where we fall short is on the measurement side. We put so much emphasis on the strategy, creative, and media, and then reporting, measurement can be a little bit of an afterthought. That's the area I would love agency partners to lean into even more is at the upfront of planning a campaign, how do we craft the right learning agenda, measurement approach, and then help see that through to the very end. And I think also not getting caught up kind of in our own industry metrics of talking about CPMs and click-through rates, but how do we actually help tell a story to our leadership on the brand side about the business impact that we've had? At the end of the day, how did our marketing and advertising campaigns contribute to company growth? So that is what I'm looking for in my agency partners is more help with the analytics, measurement, and then translating all of that into executive level summaries for people outside of marketing.
Fantastic. Yeah, it is. It's something as I've been talking to the ANA a little bit about this just in general, sort of how do we help marketers, CMOs, anybody in the marketing arena convince the rest of the business, particularly the CFO, CEO, that the money invested in marketing, advertising actually has a significant impact on the bottom line.
Exactly.
Yeah. The vanity metrics of, we got 750,000 likes. So it really becomes kind of a so what.
Yeah. And we have a lot of people on our leadership team, executives within United, members of the C-suite who don't have a marketing background either. And so for us, what the most critical deliverable we could give them is a 2-slide summary about campaign success. Stripped out of any acronyms and jargon, just be really straightforward. What impact did we have on brand perceptions of United? Ticket sales, bookings, or how did we build up loyalty? But just keep it simple and straightforward. I love an executive level summary, and I think it is kind of a craft in and of itself that you learn just through years of experience of how to explain the business growth to a non-marketing executive audience.
Yeah, I mean, so true. So true. And it's not, I'll just say this, it's not something that AI can just pop out. So that it actually needs to be, and I love it the way you said it, needs to be crafted.
Yes.
It's totally true.
Yes. I think this is where AI falls short. You still need human creativity. You need a strategist. You need a measurement lead. You need people to help explain results. And I don't think any AI tools are going to do that for you out of the box.
Not yet. Not yet. Maybe never. We'll see. As you invest in in-house capabilities, where do agencies still deliver the most value?
Mhm. This is something that we have been doing at United is investing in in-house capabilities. We've got a great creative services and studio team within our broader brand marketing team. So we've got graphic designers, digital designers, UX experts, writers, project managers. But I think where we still find a lot of value with our agencies is on the really big integrated marketing campaigns, efforts where we need to go national, we need an omni-channel media plan across broadcast, streaming, audio. And so for some of the sort of smaller campaigns, day-to-day design work, social media content, things like that, we lean on our in-house resources. But when it comes to the bigger B2C consumer campaigns, that's where our agencies really provide the most value to us at United.
Fantastic. Okay, going back to, and I think I mentioned the kind of the construct of this is agencies as sort of marketing ecosystems, marketing platforms, and then technology partners versus more strategic and creative consultancies, as we'd say. So thinking about that, would you want your agencies to evolve into platform or technology partners, or does that risk duplicating your internal strengths?
I guess I speak a bit from personal experience because I've been on the agency side. I spent almost a decade at marketing and advertising agencies, enterprise ones, a small boutique shop, and then I came over to the brand side at United 6 years ago. I personally don't want to see agencies evolve into platform and technology partners. I do think there's a trend where agencies try to be all things to all people in building up their capabilities and offering everything under the sun from PR to creative to production to media relations. And I do think there's a lot to be said for specializing and sort of knowing your strengths, whether you're a brand strategy agency or you're a great agency for Super Bowl spots and TV production. I don't want agencies to become technology partners. And I think as we've been talking about AI for years in our industry. I still think there's so much noise around AI. And what I really want from an agency partner is, okay, tell me how you're using AI in a very tangible way with your other clients. What are ways that we can duplicate those efforts within United and the work that we do together? But I think a lot of the AI talk is kind of hype and it's very surface level and it's aspirational, but I want really tangible examples. And that once again goes to, I think, the value that agencies bring of looking outside our own industry, help bring examples, case studies from other clients of yours or other industries that the agency is involved with and help bring those examples to us.
In your opinion, what's lost if agencies become primarily strategic advisors and move away from execution?
I love this question. I don't think you can solely be a strategic advisor or only provide strategy services when it comes to brand marketing and advertising. I think if you're only serving in an advising capacity, you don't have experience then understanding the level of complexity or time that is involved in executing the work. You can advise on big picture brand strategy with a capital B. But the execution I think is so critical as well. And from kind of my operations side of the team with the hat that I have on managing contracts, vendor relationships, budgets for our team, like I need an agency partner to understand too the scope and the financial implications that a strategy or an idea has, because we might fall in love with an idea, but then we have to start scoping that idea and figuring out, well, what is the cost? Who are the people that we need against this work? And I don't think it does anyone a service if the agency is too far removed from the actual execution.
Looking forward, how can agencies better align to your business, not just marketing outcomes?
I think this comes back to measurement and business impact, making sure that agencies are involved in the very upfront knowing what our goals are as a business. And for us at United Airlines, the end of the day, as brand marketers, we want to help contribute to bookings and revenue for the company. And then, of course, longer term brand equity and perceptions of the United brand globally. But what we've found success doing, we developed a new measurement framework this past year that very clearly lays out these are our marketing objectives, and then these marketing objectives ladder up to those bigger picture business objectives of ticket sales and revenue to United. And we put that measurement framework into every brief that we issue to our creative and media agencies. So it's right there at the upfront. And then, of course, we'll define primary and secondary KPIs that we want as part of a particular campaign or partnership. But we just constantly want to reinforce here is the big picture. We are responsible for changing the way that people feel about United on the brand marketing team. And then as a result of doing so, we ultimately want to be able to demonstrate that we have had an effect on ticket and sales.
What is the one thing that you would never want to see change in the value agencies provide, no matter how the different models evolve?
Ooh, this is a little bit of a tough question. I think it goes back to the specialization once again. I don't want to see every agency trying to do all things. And for example, at United, we worked with a creative agency that over time in our relationship, we have realized that they are fantastic at the really high value productions and big TV broadcast spots. But when it comes to day-to-day organic social media content or paid social media campaigns, it's actually better if we take that on ourselves. We've tried some different digital and social agencies, and we've just found it works best when we handle everything top to bottom within United. So yeah, I really just want agencies to know the value that they bring and where they really thrive and shine and bring us those capabilities.
What's the most dangerous assumption agencies are making about the future right now?
I'll actually give you two responses to this. One dangerous assumption, I think, is an over-reliance on AI, generative AI, agentic AI. I do obviously think things will continue to evolve in the business world and the way that we all adopt AI tools in our day-to-day work, and particularly as brand side marketers. But I think we're also going to see the pendulum swing a bit. There's a lot of conversation happening right now about the AI boom, and are we on this precipice of a potential fallout because of all this big tech money going into AI and building data centers. So I think we should recognize the value that still comes with human creativity, and that the tools are not going to be the end all be all answer for us. We still need humans and tools working in concert together. So let's not make the assumption that AI is going to eliminate our jobs and automate everything for us. And then I think the second thing, the savviest of marketers know that the idea of the linear marketing funnel is a concept that's been dead for a long time. And I think that it's on us to also educate sort of the next generation of marketers to know that the linear marketing funnel no longer exists. You don't start with you don't start with awareness and then move people down the funnel to consideration and then eventually get them to a place of loyalty. Nowadays, with content creators, digital marketing, TV, all working in concert together, the marketing funnel is really an ecosystem, and there's so many different ways that people end up on a path to purchase your goods or services. So I don't know, we might need to audit some marketing courses at the college or graduate school levels to make sure we're not talking about the marketing funnel in a linear fashion anymore, because it's just not realistic.
But what's really interesting to me is it gets to, there was this still is a huge divide among some marketers, certainly some agencies, when you get to brand and performance.
Mm-hmm.
And this concept that they're not trying to achieve the same goals just drives me crazy, because every interaction with a brand, whether it's going on your website, making a reservation, changing a reservation, whatever it may be, every interaction is reflective of the brand.
Mm-hmm.
And however you define performance, getting bookings, filling seats, getting people into movie theaters, getting people in the restaurants, whatever it is, everything reflects back on the brand.
I completely agree. I think we need to stop decoupling brand media and performance media and thinking about these as two different realms, or building our media plan separately to say, well, this is a brand campaign, but this over here is a performance campaign, because your average day-to-day consumer does not view it that way. And I might see a witty billboard on the side of the highway that puts a brand top of mind for me, and then I think, oh, hey, I actually want to hop over on their website and make a purchase. But similarly, I joke sometimes that everything I buy now for my own wardrobe or a lot of household goods and cosmetics is because I got served an Instagram ad. There was a really compelling content creator who gave a review about a product, and I thought, great, I'm sold, and now I'm going to go make this purchase right here on the spot. So I agree, let's stop bucketing things into brand versus performance and just look at it holistically. And for us as an airline, we're not a $20 tube of lipstick. We are selling a product that might cost a couple of $100, or if you're flying a family of four for a vacation, it might cost a few thousand. And so that's not a purchase that people make on a whim. Typically they're planning a trip and starting to look at prices and look at flights and hotel options. And then after however many weeks, months of planning, then they are, hitting the purchase button to buy their airfare. So yeah, for us, digital acquisition and, performance are very different, because we're not going to be able to just serve someone an ad on TikTok and expect that they're immediately then going to come to united.com and spend $400 on airfare. It's a longer path to purchase and planning.
What's the one piece of advice you'd give to the next generation of agency leaders to best prepare them for the future of our industry?
I believe so much in the importance of an executive level summary. I mentioned this a bit earlier, but I think reiterating to agency leaders, I mean, really people at all levels of an agency, that you can develop the most fantastic campaign, you can win agency awards, you can get millions of views and impressions on your campaign, but if you can't ultimately show how that had an impact on the brand and explain that in non-marketing terms to an executive level audience, then you're losing out on some of your successes. So really, for agency partners, help your clients explain those results in a very easy, matter-of-fact format. Help your brand side clients explain those results to their executive level leadership and their C-suite members. So I think crafting, designing, summarizing executive level summaries is a skill that you build up over time, and it can only serve you well in your career, whether you're a brand side marketer or an agency leader.
That is crystal clear advice. Thank you.